All right, we got this video about the Sumerians and their civilization explained in 7 minutes. So this is gonna be a quick little brief up on what's been going on. We've been checking out with these videos. The Sumerians, the Anunnaki, aliens, gods, angels, bro. Conspiracies, they trying to keep our consciousness down. So what we got to do now is reconnect with ourselves and look through our history, our DNA, so we can finally discover who we really are, man. It's deeper. It's deeper than what is just shown on TV. The aliens, all this. I know it's the weather balloons and stuff like that, but all of it cannot be just that. Because over years and generations, every culture almost has an alien story. Something coming from the heavens, coming down. They could be angels. They could be aliens. We don't know. So yeah, we got to check this out, man. The Sumerians and their civilization.
This video is brought to you by Captivating History. Most scholars around the world agree that the ancient Sumerians were the earliest developed civilization in our recorded history. They are the culture that gave us
how old was that?
The first kingdom and then empire. The first city.
It has to be over 2,000, right?
The first democracy. The first autocracy. They pioneered writing, schooling, organized religion.
Yo, how do you... Hold on, I gotta go back. How do you... Okay, I'm looking at this one. How can you read that? I see the lines, I see edges, I see like triangles, squares, cross, X's. I don't know, man. How do you read that? Is that blood?
Yes, the Sumerians were the first in many areas of expertise. Who were the Sumerians? The Sumerians were a civilization that started circa 6500 BC and ended around 4100 BC.
6500, so what's that, about 9,000 years ago? We've been doing this for a while and it's been erased and we're making a comeback. Because we go back, our start is with Christ. Most of our like calendars is Christ, right? BC, before Christ.
To influence the entirety of the ancient Middle East, and their
I think that's what it stands for.
Innovations echo in diverse ancient cultures such as Egypt, Greece, Rome, Ethiopia, and more. From a practical, mundane standpoint, they were a highly religious, agricultural society that put great emphasis on art, culture, and the written word. As is the case with all cultures,
they
before
Christ.
From simpler
I don't just make that up.
Societies based on the Bronze
AD
Age
means
scattered
like,
about the area that comprised ancient Sumer.
I don't know.
They
it's
were
like
inventive,
domino, something like that.
And interestingly enough, had parallels with even modern-day societies in both positive and negative aspects of their daily lives. Where did the Sumerians live? The area where the earliest civilization lived took up the territory of
Egypt?
southern Mesopotamia, in parts of modern Iraq and Kuwait. It is nestled between two important rivers for the region, the Tigris and the Euphrates, as well.
So it's the Middle East, right?
Nestled between two important rivers for the region.
So it's Iraq and Kuwait. So is this Kuwait, this little piece right here, and this is Iraq, right? So is it like, I don't know.
The Tigris and the Euphrates, as well as the Persian Gulf to the southeast.
So it's extremely small.
Were numerous city-states that, depending on the time period, either dominated the region, were enslaved by other cities or even other peoples, or acted independently. Rule. From their earliest days, the Sumerian city-states actually enjoyed a level of democracy not unlike the one we have today in the Western world. Most major government positions were elected rather than hereditary, and a council made important decisions regarding critical state matters. It was only during increasing warfare between the city-states, as well as clashes with the barbaric tribes from both the east and the west of Sumer, that the need for a single ruler arose.
Barbaric.
And this was when the king, or Lugal, big man in Sumerian, would take control. An ancient Sumerian had a vast array of professions to choose from. We should differentiate between two groups. The first includes the Sumerian upper classes, and the second includes their plebes. Depending on how you were born or what you did during your life in Sumer,
the Greek,
you could jump
Egyptian
between these two groups.
influence.
Jobs and professions. The high-class Sumerians, for the most part, were either priests, scribes, members of royalty, or minor noblemen. In terms of craftsmen, we find a wide array of professions.
But how do you
There were
get
sculptors.
back then? How did you get nobility back then? You just people with land, or people with like merchants. I don't know, man. It says it was they said it was like a democracy, so it must be like people that rose up the ranks with politics and like agriculture and stuff like that. So how do you become a noble?
Lapidaries,
War?
carpenters, smiths, leather workers, fullers, basket makers, builders, etc.
Oh, fish.
Based on the works of ancient Sumerian
I
scribes,
see the fish at the bottom
these were
right there.
not sought after professions, and most children and their parents with high aspirations were encouraged to pursue academic or theological professions. Sumerian technology and inventions. Vast and diverse areas of technology, including transportation, tools, war, hunting,
Like a
agriculture, and brewing, have their origins in ancient
Or
Sumer.
mushrooms.
The wheel, the pickaxe, and the different types of land and water vessels are only the tip of the iceberg. The cuneiform script is by far the earliest writing system, and it was so influential
Cuneiform?
that it became widespread throughout the ancient Middle East. It
Kinda
was
looks
even in
like-
use until around the 1st century BC, a whole 5+
Wow.
millennia after its invention.
Wow.
Mathematics was a major part of the
5,000
Sumerian
years?
schooling system. They single-handedly birthed arithmetic and geometry, largely for practical use.
Yeah. Okay. Here's like the perfect showing of it. Bro, how do you read that? I can understand some of it. That looks like, I don't know, fingernails and like, I don't know, bro. I see 1, 2, 3. The points, the crossing through the points, the wave, the I don't know. Like I can understand the differences between the symbols, but how do you read that? It's left and right.
Measure.
Each thing means something. I don't
I
know.
also need to mention the first use of the lunar solar calendar, later to be implemented in cultures both east and west of
Yep.
Mesopotamia. Sumerian
The 12
foreign
months.
policy, relations with other
And the
nations.
zodiacs.
As is the case with modern-day nations, the Sumerians' relationship with their
Elam?
immediate neighbors
that Islam?
was a
Where did that come from?
complicated one. There was no shortage of bloody battles, coups, hostile takeovers, hostile liberations, submissions, and destructions. However, nearly all of these groups were influenced by the Sumerians in no small way. And considering how geographically distant they were from the prominent Sumerian city-states, that speaks volumes of just how influential the first civilization of the world really was. The
Okay.
religion and mythology of ancient
Oh,
Sumerians.
here we go.
Understanding this particular aspect of the ancient Sumerians is of vital importance to world culture in general. And no, this is not a statement made lightly. Most of what we see in the ancient myths of Sumer either directly or partially corresponds to numerous world myths. The hierarchy and behavior of gods, the creation of man, the Great Flood, the giants, the creation myths. All of these were present in Sumerian mythology first. The Sumerians
hear that?
envisioned the heavens as domes made of different precious stones. Whenever a Sumerian
worship
would die, according
crystals
to
and
mythology,
stones.
they would go directly
worship,
to Ker. An interesting concept that is almost unique to the Sumerians
Why our feet look
is
like
that their
that?
underworld isn't necessarily
So they got the wings, angel wings. Got to piece it together. Is this an owl? I think maybe. Here's the lions, tigers, whatever, and they have bird feet. Why do they all have this? I don't know. Why do they all have different animalistic traits? Unless these were like the first test subjects of the Anunnaki. It might still be locked in our DNA because they can trace back to like where we branched off and how like how far along ago was that when we branched off from
place of
most animals? Are
eternal
our DNA still inside of
as
us?
the sun
I don't know.
sets and gives way
Maybe.
to the moon on the surface. It would actually illuminate Ker, essentially bringing daylight to it. Within the realm of Ereshkigal, the dead would be judged by the sun god Utu, and at times even his father, the moon god Nana. Those judged righteous would go on to live in bliss for eternity. Those judged unfavorably would suffer for an eternity. There you have it. Sumerian civilization explained in 7 minutes. Obviously, a lot went untold here. So to discover more about this fascinating civilization, check out our new book, Sumerians, a captivating guide to ancient Sumerian history, Sumerian mythology,
That's a long
and the
title.
Mesopotamian Empire of the...
Alright, yo. I might have to check out that book. But if y'all like the video, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see something else or something like else that I can learn from with the Sumerians, the Anunnaki, aliens in general. The real stuff, not just like some what's it called? Aliens and Predator type of aliens. Prometheus, maybe. That might be true. That might be what the Anunnaki look like. I don't know. But yeah, and Mawa, my God.